Do you know why that behavior is happening? Child, if you don't know, we're going to get into it. So there are 4 functions of behaviors, right? Those functions of behaviors are access, escape or avoidance, attention, and sensory, also known as automatic reinforcements. And so these are 4 reasons why any behavior can happen. Any behavior. So I want y'all to know that anything that happens is a learning experience in the home for your child. You're reinforcing things that you don't even know that you're reinforcing. So the functions of behaviors are important to know because this tells us the why of behavior, the why that is happening. And then I'm going to give you some interventions that you could use once we figure out the whys of this behavior. Okay? So knowing the why is very, very important in figuring out how we're going to address the behavior. So let's dive into it. What is access? Access is when, you might see me looking at my notes. That's what I'm doing. They want to obtain an activity or an item. The popular item of the iPad. Child, a lot of behaviors are happening around the iPad because children are using them and then time is up and they don't want to give up the iPad when it's over. So they're engaging in behaviors because they want continued access to that thing. And when the child cries or throw a tantrum, well, what happens is when they do that and you give them more time, you know what they just taught them? Child, you just taught them that anytime they engage in this behavior, they're going to be able to gain access to that thing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? The next function of behavior is escape or avoidance. So escape is you are in a task, a non-preferred activity, and you are doing that task and you done got frustrated. You ready to escape, so you start engaging in maladaptive behaviors. You start stomping your feet. You start throwing stuff. You start saying stuff, and knowing that you might get kicked out to go to the principal's office. Y'all think that's a punishment for these kids? Child, that ain't no punishment. Do you know what they do when they go to that principal's office? Get snacks, sit down and talk to an adult, get attention. That's not a punishment. They're avoiding the task at hand, right? Excuse me, they're escaping the task at hand. Also there is a avoidance, meaning you ever tell a child to go clean their room and then the behavior start, they're avoiding the task right then and there. They don't even want to start the task because they don't like it, okay? So they're engaging in these behaviors because they know they're going to get out of the non-preferred activity. The next one is attention. Child, a lot of behaviors happen because children want attention. And a lot of times y'all don't recognize that you're reinforcing negative behavior, right? So, excuse me, I done went past my point. So these kids want attention from adults, teachers, kids, anybody they can get attention from. This behavior has been reinforced in the past. So, which means they got positive reinforcement. They was given something to increase the behavior. So this behavior has been reinforced and they want that attention from that person. They don't care if it's positive. A praise is, oh, good job, Johnny. That's positive reinforcement. Something added to increase the behavior. Right? But so is go sit down. Well, child, they still getting the same thing. They want attention. They don't care if it's go sit down or good job. Either way, they'll take it because that's what they're looking for, right? And then the last one deals with a lot of our kids with autism or variations of cognitive abilities. Automatic reinforcement, which is sensory. What I'm doing right now, as you see me pulling my hair, it feels good to me. That's automatic reinforcement. It is done without the mediation of anybody else. You can do something because it feels good. A lot of times our kids are stimming because something about that feels good to them. And so they're engaging in this behavior because, child, it feel good, okay? So anyway, they're engaging in these behaviors because it feels good to them. And so they don't need another person to get reinforcement from that. They just pulling their hair like I'm doing right now, or they just shaking their hands, and something about it calms them, soothes them. And although society doesn't always like or feel it's appropriate for these kind of behaviors to happen, that's when we go to teaching alternative behaviors. But let me not get too ahead of myself, all right? So let me give y'all some practical tips about why my child is doing this, why my child is engaging in attention-seeking behaviors, avoidance behaviors, escape behaviors, attention-seeking behaviors, or automatic reinforcement. Child, I feel like I missed something. But baby, it's all right. Oh, access to items. You know, that's important. Them iPads, child. Them iPads be getting you, don't they? Wherever you go, take that iPad away. What's going to happen? You already know. So let's give you some interventions for this behavior. For access, you can alter the environment. You can set the environment up before the child gets there for success. When I work with kids, I set the environment up. I control the environment. I move things that are going to be of hindrance. I fix tables certain ways. I put items higher up so kids cannot gain access to them, because I am setting up the environment for what I want to happen. And in order for you to control that environment, you have to set the environment up for success. You can also do priming. Priming is preparing a child for the activity or event where you know they struggle. So if you know they struggle with certain things, prepare them. Okay, in 10 minutes, we gotta go do this. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Okay, we got 3 minutes. Okay, we got 1 minute, and start to move toward the child. Start to, let them know what's gonna happen. I know y'all think that's a lot. But isn't it a lot when they screaming and crying and kicking and hitting and doing all that other stuff, as opposed to putting a little bit more effort in and priming them for what's happening, priming them when you got to go to the doctors, priming them for whatever the change is. It's not too much to ask for you to be like, okay, let me give them some warning. Let them know on Monday they're not going to school, child. And because a lot of kids with autism like routine. So they're like, oh, we going to school. Oh, no, Bob, we not going to school. What you mean? You disrupted their whole day, their whole schedule. Now you got a meltdown all day. Instead of just saying, let me prime Bobby for what's going to happen 2 days in advance. The next day, oh, we don't have school on Monday. Remember, we're doing this. That morning, oh, we're not getting up for school. We have to go here today. Priming them. And then also, y'all ever heard of grandma's law? First and then, grandma used to say, go ahead and eat your Brussels sprouts, and then you can get ice cream. That is an effective tool. In ABA, we call that the PREMAC principle. So you have to complete a task before you can get what you want. And what if you say, well, they not gonna do it? Then child, don't give them what they want. Oh, they gonna cry and tantrum. Crying, that never hurt nobody. You don't want to hear it, but guess what? It's okay. It's okay for them to cry. It's okay for them to want. It's okay. But you have to start setting consequences in motion. First, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, right? That helps them to stay motivated. Okay, what if you say, well, I shouldn't have to give my child no rewards to do what I want them to do. You're right, you don't have to. But let's think about this. When you go to work, what's your motivation? That paycheck? You know, at the end of the week, 2 weeks, or whatever the case is, you're going to get something that motivates you to do that, right? Same thing with these children. They need some motivation sometime because you don't know who let them down in the past. You don't know what's going on eternally. Sometimes they need some external motivation to get things done. All right, the next one is we're getting interventions for attention. You can block that behavior. Like if you know a child is going to come and hit you, you don't want that. You block it, you turn your head and you say, no, thank you. We tap. And you wait for them to tap. Once they tap, you respond. Because now you just taught them hitting is not appropriate. That's not appropriate. I'm not going to respond to that. I will respond to this. And you wait. You just ignore it until they do it. You act like they ain't even do nothing. Don't say stop. Don't. Attention. Reinforcing that behavior. Nope. Let it go. Ignore it. Ooh, over there. Or go tell them to sit down. Raise their hand. Whatever it is you want them to do, you do not reinforce the behavior. Don't give it attention. Block it. The next one is put the behavior on extinction, which means you are no longer reinforcing that behavior. Now, I will say, when you put a behavior on extinction, the behaviors are going to increase before they decrease because the child is used to a certain level of engagement with that thing. So if you allow this child to cry 10 minutes before you gave them what they want, they're going to cry 10 minutes, 20 minutes. They're going to cry because they're trying to wait that thing out like they usually do. And when you no longer reinforce that behavior, you putting it on extinction, child, that's going to be a lot. That's why people like me do that because I can handle that. And then I teach it to parents how to put behaviors on extinction because sometimes the kids know that you can't handle it. And so they're going to test and try and push until you give in. So don't reinforce the behavior no more. And then teaching by request. So you can teach a child a more appropriate behavior instead of the maladaptive behavior. Kids are kicking and screaming and crying because they want something to eat, especially kids that have communication deficits. They're engaging in maladaptive behaviors because child would get them what they want. So now it's time for us to teach them other behaviors. Like even if they said, cook, they want a cookie, cook, we're going to give them a cookie for cook because they're trying. And then we shape that behavior, but that's a whole nother story. Teaching behaviors to help them get what they want instead of engaging in crying. Because honestly, let's be honest, it's easier to cry and fall out and you get that cookie than it is for you to teach them. But if you want that behavior to continue, keep on doing what you're doing. But if you want to teach them something, you have to start teaching them the things you want them to do and not just saying, stop that. I need you to, right? The language. All right. And for those that are escaping or avoiding tasks. So the easy, hard request, we call this behavior momentum. So you give 2 easy tasks or preferred tasks before you give the hard task because they're in a series of movements towards whatever those tasks are. So you catch them motivated. And so sometimes they don't even notice that you asked them to do a hard task, right? And they just go ahead and do it, not realizing that they just did something they didn't want to do. But because you didn't give the hard request first, you gave, pick up your shoe. Oh, go get the rabbit over there. Okay, bring the shoes here. Let's say bring the shoes here was a hard task. They're going to do it because they're not thinking. They're like, okay, I'm getting praise. Okay, I want that praise. And then they're going to do the hard task, right? How about show, tell, show, do. This increases compliance with non-preferred tasks and decreases the amount of repeated demands. So you're going to tell them what you want. You're going to show them, and then they do. It's modeling. And just like, let's be honest. People that want their kids to clean their room, they be like, go in there and clean the room. The kid throw everything in the closet, throw everything under the bed. balling up stuff, hiding it, and then the parent come in and be like, this room ain't clean, and they be like, well, yes it is, and you tell them to do it again, and they do the same thing again and move stuff different places, and you come in and it's still wrong, and that's what you do. You clean the room. Instead of saying, okay, I want you to clean your room, that means, even if you put a list on the door, put your shoes in the closet, put your clothes that's on the floor in the hamper, make up your bed, take the dirty sheets off, put them in the hamper, put new sheets on, go in the closet, get the sheets, put them on the bed, put the bread spread on the bed, put the pillows on the bed. Go empty the trash and whatever else you got to do. I know it sounds like a lot, but once you do it and put a list and maybe reward those behaviors, you won't have to do it more than once or twice because they know what they need to do. Instead of keep saying, that room ain't clean, keep doing it again. Child, people get frustrated. You getting frustrated and so is the child. And then they're going to give up trying to do it because they don't know what you want. And I know some of y'all parents saying they should know what to do. Have you ever shown them what to do? If you haven't shown them, child, I digress. All right, and then providing choices. Now, providing choices, in my opinion, is a powerful tool because you can give choices of 2 non-preferred activities, right? 2 of them. But it gives the illusion of the choice. Now, the math homework and the science homework got to get done. Which one you want to do first? Well, we got to do both of them. So which one do you want to do first? I guess I'll do the math. Okay. It don't matter if they huff and puff. You gave them a simulation of a choice, right? So there it is. The choice. And then they do it. And in between those choices, give breaks. Because you don't want them to just do this, do this, do that. They're going to start acting up. They need a little space and wiggle room in between, right? All right. And then automatic reinforcement. Automatic reinforcement is what I'm doing here. Sensory. Just, stuff that feels good. A lot of times with our kids with autism and our teenagers with autism, they use self-stimulatory behaviors with their bodies because it feels good, because they don't know that you can't engage in these behaviors in a public bathroom. They have to be taught where to do these behaviors. They're touching themselves in inappropriate places. Well, I ain't talking about on their body, in communities. And we know that if the police are called on these children, they don't always look autistic. They don't always look that they have issues. And so then there's a response from the police. So we need to start teaching them where and when these behaviors are appropriate. Nobody wants to talk about, that the sexual part of our kids with autism or different cognitive abilities. But sensory automatic reinforcement, baby, can be strong. And if we don't teach them where to engage in these behaviors, sometimes they will engage in these behaviors in the wrong places. And if they're engaging in this activity in the wrong places, we know that there can be consequences that we do not want. And so also priming. We talked about priming earlier, preparing these kids. Okay, when we go in here, kicking your feet is not appropriate. Give them a toy that they can use in their hand. Instead of banging their feet on the floor, give them something to hold. You have to think ahead what you could do, because you're shaping the environment for them to be successful. We think it's the kid's job. No, it's the parent's job to make the children successful. And that's why I'm here giving up tools for parents to be successful in their communities, in their homes, in their schools, wherever they are with their kids, because I see this so often every day that parents need support. They don't know where to ask for support or who even can give them support. But I'm here for that. I've been working with children with ADHD. I have ADHD, autism, dyslexia, ODD, and a lot of other cognitive abilities. And so I've been teaching parents and teaching kids how to shape their environments, mold their environments for appropriate behaviors, and teaching parenting classes. So I want you to know that there is help. If you are looking for more support, you can join Fearless Parent on Facebook. I am working on my website so I can get my one-on-ones up, because there are a lot of families that have requested one-on-ones. I do that, and I do parenting classes also, and some other things, but we ain't gonna talk about that right now. But I want to encourage you to leave a comment in the under the bottom to let me know where you have struggled, because that'll help me figure out what videos you guys need and want to see. I do a lot of things, and so I will do a community post to ask what kind of videos you guys want. But I wanted to talk about, why does my child do that? Because a lot of parents don't understand why their children are engaging in these type of behaviors. And so remember, the first thing we want to do is figure out the why of the behavior. Then we want to ask for support if needed, with getting these interventions, with putting them together, with figuring out why this is happening, how they can get better with engaging their family and their children, and getting these interventions done. All right, so thank you so much for watching this live. I will be back with another live. It was supposed to be going live on Facebook, but I think I did it wrong. But anyway, child, I love you, Fearless Parents. I want you to know that I'm here to support. And if you need, you can drop down in the comments, let me know what you need, and we can work together. I will see you again for the next video.